Hello, welcome back to the TCAP commentary. Today we're gonna look at John Kennelly, right? I am super hyped this time around because I am actually out of the closet. I'm outside of the closet for the first time in a long time. If you've been around me for a while now, you know that when I first started, I wasn't in the closet, I was in my desk, right? So we're back. I have a little bit of time, not very much, though. But yeah, we're gonna watch John Kennelly again. Last time I watched him, it was like I think almost like a year ago, or even more than that. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm not sweating. I'm not having high blood pressure, right? So we're doing perfectly fine, and not in the heat of a closet, right? Over here suffocating myself. So yeah, let's just get started. Screw it, right? Like the video. Check me out. I don't know. Banger, man. Oh, I love this so much. The tippy toe. Why is the guy filming? Why is the guy filming the screen like shaking? Like he's like breathing heavy. Like, oh my god, John Kennelly's naked right now. Sorry. Stop. What? You know, John Kennelly is just legendary just for the fact he did this. So, you know, if you've seen my other video, I was very forward. Like, I just watched like a little bit of it like right now, and I was cursing like a sailor, right? I know a lot of people didn't like that before, but anyway, I won't mention my last video this anymore, right? One thing that I don't like know why is why he was so quiet. Like he was actually being like very sneakily. Like he walked in, he tiptoed, he sat down to be very quietly. He's sitting there without saying a single thing. Like I wonder if the instructions were to like, oh, you know, walk in, you know, be all sneakily, right? Or something, right? The decoy must have told him like, hey, just walk in, like sneakily sit down and just close your eyes and just wait for a surprise, right? And the surprise was Chris Hansen, right? But we'll see. I know I just paused it, but another thing that I just don't understand is how the clonking of Chris's like thick ass shoes didn't alert him at all. Like, what child, right, is gonna be like, yeah, I'm walking around in my finest outfit right now. I'm walking in some, I don't even know, like dress shoes right now. Like it's just, I don't know. I mean, John Kennelly isn't the smartest guy, like evidently, but it's still, I feel like your senses could tell something's wrong, but apparently not. You know.
Could you explain yourself?
Could you explain?
I'm sorry.
Cover up. God, he has no ass, by the way. I know, very stupid to say, but like if you look at the blur, right? I know you shouldn't, but if you look at the blur, like he has no ass. Like you can tell it. Like there's no like, you know what I mean? There's no. It's just like that. I don't know. As an artist, you can tell where the line is, right? Like that's where the line is. I don't know. Not attractive at all. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm giving you this mental image, but like, look, he has nothing. First of all, I got one of the juiciest. You know what? I'm not even gonna say it, right? I'm not gonna say it. But best believe I have a dump truck back here, you know. But anyway, I'm sure Chris also has a dump truck too. Like,
What's going on here?
rapping Jesus.
Your son IM'd me, and he told me to come on over.
Oh, let me go back.
Certainly.
Certainly.
I'm sorry.
What's going on here?
Your son IM'd me, and he told me to come on over.
He IM'd you.
Yes, sir.
You
You
can sit down.
take a seat
How did he know to IM you?
before I jump you.
I don't know, sir. Honest.
So he just chose you out of the blue and said, come on over, get naked, and walk into the kitchen.
Come on over.
Well, I sat there talking to him for a little bit. Yes.
And what'd you guys talk about?
Nothing. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's too late. Like this video is already recorded. You can like talk to the screen like Dora the Explorer, right? But it's not gonna change my answer. So I'm convinced that he messaged they messaged for less than a day, or at maximum like 2 days. But I believe it was like a day encounter. I'm maybe pushing it 3 days, but it was a very short encounter. I know a lot of these guys, they do actually like they're very quick movers, right? Like there are some that really move really quick. But I believe John Kennelly was one of those that like moved really quick because Chris is asking him like, oh, what did you guys talk about? In reality, I don't think they talked about much other than maybe like being like, oh, you want to hook up, right? It's something very forward because being a quick mover, you have to, I guess, move quick, right? What a nuanced thought from me. I'm so sorry, but like. Yeah, I mean, one of the first things they could have said was like, oh, how old are you? Oh, I'm 13, right? And then the guy's like, well, you want to bang or something? Something like that. That's probably how the chat logs went. I haven't checked his chat logs out. I don't know if they're out there. You know what I mean? Because I know in like perverted justice history, there was a case where like the files were wiped or something because they like kind of did something wrong. But I think that was a little bit more forward than this Sting house. I think it was a Petaluma one, but I'm not sure.
We were just talking about anything, sir. I sat there talking to him for a little bit, yes.
And what'd you guys talk about?
We were just talking about anything, sir.
How old are you?
I'm 29, sir.
29. And what do you do for a living?
I drive a school bus.
You drive a school bus?
Yes, sir.
Chris is gonna say it.
And you thought it was appropriate
he's gonna take a little bit. One thing that I'm forever confused about, and I understand when people are in stress situations, they like say some stupid things, but he's not a bus driver. Like, what? Imagine if I were to tell you, think up of a fake job right now. It would probably be something along the lines of like, what do you aspire to be, or like, something more normal. Why? And it also like it's just all so bad. You're being caught trying to visit someone who's underage, and your response for a fake job is a school bus driver. Like, how could you not think of a worse? Like, the only other worst thing that could be is, like, teacher or daycare worker, right? Or something like that. But a school bus, I just don't understand it. At this time, John Kennelly does not have a job. So thinking up of a fake job being school bus driver is so out there. It's very strange, but, I think Chris talks about it later.
Walk into the home of a 14-year-old boy who you thought was alone, buck naked.
Buck naked?
What was your plan?
I don't know, sir.
What's your full name?
John Kennelly.
And you're a school bus driver or a teacher?
Teacher.
You're a teacher.
It becomes even, Del Harvey, I'm over here, I'm blushing right now. I'll stop. Why? He went worse. That's impressive. Like, you gotta give it to him. Like, that is impressive, like, criminally moving as you could get. You know what I mean? You go from, I'm a school bus driver, I'm in charge of like making sure children get home safe and stuff, and then he goes, you know what, that's not good enough, that's not gonna cut it, right? I need to do something even worse. I'm a teacher. I'm in charge of your child's safety and education purposes, right? Like, it's out there, but it's classic, isn't it? Like, and also, whose video is this? Hold on. Okay, it's Saul's video, right? I like the video, right? Give thanks to Saul. But he names him the McDonald's Predator, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree that being his name. Like, I understand he gets caught twice, and the other time he gets caught is him at a McDonald's, but I would consider Lee Greer more of a McDonald's. I can't even talk. McDonald's character Predator, because he actually brought McDonald's, but I would call him the Naked Predator, right? I don't know if that's taken by someone else, but I don't think so, right? Marvin Lackhan is like the other one that got like buck naked, but I don't think he's that. I don't think.
And you're a school bus driver or a teacher?
Teacher.
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher.
A fake teacher.
I'm gonna need to see some ID.
Don't search that up, by the way.
I left that at home, so I'm sorry.
God, don't search a fake teacher, bro. For the love of God, just don't do it, right? It's real bad.
I'd like to
or
see
fake
some
taxi
ID.
and all that stuff.
Turned out later
Nothing
that he was
fake.
neither a teacher nor a bus driver. In fact, he was unemployed.
I left that at home, so I'm sorry.
I'd like to see some ID. Turned out later that he was neither a teacher nor a bus driver. In fact, he was unemployed and had been for some time.
That's one thing that I just don't understand, right? Like, yes, we've already gone through the mystery, a bus driver pick and the teacher pick, but I got something else coming, right? Why is it that he's like, Chris goes, I'm gonna need to see some ID, right? And then John Kennelly's response is like, "Oh, I don't have it. I still left it at home, sir. I'm sorry." Like, it's not like he's gonna whip it out of his ass, right? Like, I know he can't just pull it out or something, but you know, he could easily have kept up that lie, right? He would have been like, "Oh no, I didn't bring it because, you know, I was scared or something." I don't know, something like that, right? But then Chris is like, "You know what? I'm not gonna keep up with this bullshit, right? I need to see some ID right now," right? He almost yelled at him. And then he gets his ID. Like, what way to fold almost instantly, John Kennelly, right? Have a spine for the love of God, right? For the love of God, have some spine, and say, "No, I don't have it, Chris." Right? You can't force me, right? And also, it's a reminder that at this time there was no police in the stings. They weren't affiliated or like cooperating with police. So essentially, this was just a random prank show. Essentially, right? You're getting punked. Yeah, John Kennelly.
What kind of conduct is this for? Employed and had been for some time.
What kind of conduct?
What kind of conduct is this for a high school teacher?
No, sir. I've never done this before.
You're going to tell me you've never done this before?
No, sir.
So you just woke up this morning and said, "I'm going to get involved in an internet conversation with a 14-year-old boy. I'm going to go to his house, strip naked, and walk in with a 12-pack of beer." This was just something you fuck up today.
No, sir. I'm not talking to him about it online.
I don't like this like fake crying voice. Like, you can easily tell that John Kennelly does not give a single bleep, right? He does not give a single frick. You know, you look at his face. You genuinely think that this guy is distressed. Like, he's not. If you haven't seen John Kennelly before somehow, or you're new to TCAP, hi, by the way. If you're new to TCAP, this is how I usually am. I don't even know anymore. This is me. Accept it, right? John Kennelly, he's a little bit of a, what is it called? Like a sociopath, right? He can't show off his emotions like normally. He always has his face on, realistically. The times we've seen him, he always looks like this. And I know he is surprised. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for him to have a surprised face, but this isn't really that surprised. He looks kind of bored. But he's like, "Oh, I've never done this before," but I'm pretty sure he has. He seems very experienced, because like I've mentioned in the past, like predators that have never done this before, they kind of like are very timid, right? I don't think a first-time predator would be like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna whip it out right now." You know what I mean? That's just not something that I feel like someone who's more normal, quote unquote normal. They're not normal people. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, he seems more experienced than the what is it? The ladder? No, that's not the ladder. The
Get naked and walk in with a 12-pack of beer. This was just something you thunk up today.
It's a good idea.
Sir.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm not talking to him
Don't do
about it
that.
online.
Do you see how this looks, John?
Yes, sir.
Let me just and walk in with a 12-pack of beer. This was just something you thunk up today.
No, sir. I'm not talking to him about it online.
Do you see how this
Fake
looks, John?
crying is so ass.
Yes, sir.
Let me just see the driver's license.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well, sorry, doesn't cut it. What would have happened?
If I wasn't here.
What would have happened, John, if I wasn't here?
I probably would have chickened out, sir.
Oh, classic
out.
banger, man. Whenever I chicken out, I think about John Kennelly. Whenever I think about chicken, period, right? I think about John Kennelly. I'm kidding, but what was I gonna say? Right? He's lucky he doesn't get beat up here. You know what I mean? He's lucky that he got found out by Chris and his team. Because come on, I would beat the brakes off of this guy in the game, right? In a video game, in Minecraft. I would never do that, right? YouTube, please don't hurt me, right? Like, he's just lucky he is fine. You know what I mean? Because there are people that have probably, gotten really hurt from something like this. But, as well as him being like, "Oh, I would have chickened out." Like, that's cap. Dare I say, Your Honor, that's cap. He was easily gonna go through with it. Like, there's no way you go past you getting naked, like, at the front of the door and then say you're gonna chicken out once you're in it, right? Pause. Fat pause. But you know what I mean? Once you're actually... I'm just gonna stop talking. But he's lying. That's all I'm trying to say.
Do you see why that is hard for me to believe?
I do, sir. That is the truth.
You say to him, "Are you straight, bi, or gay?" He says, "Gay." "I just don't tell anyone." You say, "Sweet, I won't, I promise." You say, "You are so effing hot, bro. I want to be your boyfriend."
That's how I talk to my friends, my homies. "You're so effing hot, bro." I say that
I just don't
often.
tell anyone. You say, "Sweet, I won't, I promise."
But something I'm trying to point out is how he's shaking. Like he's, you know, this is proving that he's shaking. It kind of derails, or disproves what I've been saying, that he doesn't seem that you know, vexed by what's happening. But I don't know, because I also think I'm right. Like, I mean, of course I am right. I'm always right. But I truly think that he's not taking this as serious as he should be. But he does look like he's shaking. Maybe it's the camera quality, but I don't think that is the case.
I just don't
look at his
you.
hand.
You say, sweet, I won't, I promise. You say, you are
he's
so...
He's shaking. Effing hot.
Effing hot, bro. I want to be your boyfriend
Chris is so
if you will
effing hot.
have me. I'm serious.
I was just chatting. I was just...
Chatting? You're sitting in this kitchen naked, John.
John?
That's a step beyond chatting, isn't it?
There's something I do want to point out, and I think I did it in my very first one, is how Chris actively looks mad. Like, you know, Chris has always like tried to perceive himself, like have his perception, like have the perception of Chris Hansen, right? Have people look at him as someone who is deterred and like not fazed by emotions, and you know, because he doesn't want to seem as someone who's like easily pushed around or like easily annoyed or whatever, right? But in this case, Chris Hansen easily got mad at John Kennelly. I mean, how could you not? I mean, this guy, he's really trying to fool everyone that's watching to make people think that he was not going to go along with what he had planned. And, you know, you just listen to the way Chris is talking to him, right? You're like, this is a step above, you know, chatting, isn't it? Like, he's actively mad, and I'm not blaming him at all. It's just very interesting to see Chris being mad, because everything we've seen about Chris Hansen, he doesn't show, or he doesn't like it being shown that he gets mad at these guys. Like, only in some, like, uncut, like, unearthed fucking videos. I just cursed. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, right? Effing videos. They cut out when Chris gets mad. And I've seen it happen, right? I'm thinking in the... I don't know.
If you will have...
In some... what's his name? Keith Williamson. Is it Williamson? The Keith guy. I'm sure he gets really mad at him. But I think they cut it out. I'm not sure.
I'm serious.
I was just chatting. I was just
Chatting? You're sitting in this kitchen naked, John. That's a step beyond chatting, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, sir. What there?
I don't want to get you in trouble, bro. I also don't want to get me in trouble either. You knew this was wrong when you walked in.
Yes, sir.
I think I can learn real fast to love you.
Ooh. You know, that's one of the lines that, like, every time I hear it again, it reminds me of how nasty some of these conversations can get. Yeah, I mean, I have looked at some chat logs recently, right? Shout out to Morticia, right? In the Nabu channel. I really like the way she does her chat log videos, right? And it makes me interested to actually listen to what, you know, they actually said. But, you know, a lot of guys laugh at these guys, like, segments, right? Because it is funny. I mean, I am doing it. It is funny, right, to laugh at them. But in the chat logs, they are complete monsters. I mean, it's I know it's very... You could easily, you know... Is it defer? Is that a word? Defer that is the case. But it's just... You know, I can learn really quick to love you. That is nasty. That is just crazy to think that a 29-year-old... Which I don't even know if he is 29, but... A supposed 29-year-old is telling that to a supposed 14-year-old. Like, insanity. That is insanity. And it's just, and you know, this is a thought that I've had recently, is how predators have probably existed since the beginning of time, and that's just a very crazy thought to have. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. I don't know. I just don't know what else to say about it. But that's a thought that I've had, like, somewhat often, is like, you know, damn, like, predators have kind of existed for, like, since the beginning of time, in a sense. Like, it's just very sad to hear, but, you know what I mean? And then have, like, the older times, that stuff probably didn't get caught and documented in any form. Like, nowadays, it's easier to, you know, have that get caught and stuff.
14
But back then, probably not.
years old. Do you know? 14 years old. Do you know that it's illegal to have a conversation on the internet with the intent to have sex with a minor?
Yes, sir, I did.
So you came here knowingly violating the law.
Yeah, he's
Kennelly was
scared.
significant
He's
because
really
not
scared.
only did he admit what he was doing was wrong, he also admits that he knew it was illegal, and he showed up anyway.
Yep.
What do you think should happen to you?
I don't know, sir.
Well, there's something you gotta
You
know.
gotta know something. Before he reveals himself, right? It's something that I brought up a decent amount of times, is how, like, these guys admit that they're doing something wrong and that they were fully aware that it was wrong, and that's just they get easily get caught up into that, like, knowing it was illegal. They can't deny it, like, in a court, being like, oh, I didn't know it was illegal, when they get caught saying on footage, saying that they knew it was wrong. Yeah, I mean, I understand that something like a segment from MSNBC, right, couldn't probably be shown in court, right? It wasn't, like, you know, part of a police investigation, you know, especially at this time. But in a police interrogation room, when people say, oh, like, the detective goes, oh, did you know it was wrong, or did you had a feeling it was wrong, or something like that, and they say yes, then, you know, that's just, you can't use that as a defense, being like, oh, I didn't know it was wrong, you know, because you admitted that you knew it was wrong. But something to point out.
Well, there's something you gotta know. I am not the father of the boy. But I am Chris Hansen of Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators.
And I will admit, also, put on some shoes. What the hell? I mean, to be honest, he's not like that's that bad. I mean, we got this guy right here, right, fully unclothed. But I do hate how they did come out. Like, Chris was ready to have, like, a slam dunk of an intro, right? Like, I am not the father or the police, but I am Chris Hansen, right? Like, so, you know, they play, you know, confetti blows out, you know, the balloons come out, you know what I mean? The mics come out, like the cameras. But the guy fumbles the bag and ruins it.
I am not the father of the boy.
What an idiot.
But I am Chris Hansen of Dateline NBC.
I
We're
am.
doing a story on computer predators. Anything else you'd like to say to us? We'd like to hear it. If not, you're free to leave.
Thank you.
You can take the towel to the garage and get dressed.
Please take the camera off of me.
I like how he almost bumped into the cameraman.
He's trying to
Also, did you actually think, okay, like, I just cannot believe, and I know some people are typing as I'm pausing this, did you really think that I did not see Ron Knight in the background? Are you serious? Come on, man. That is amateur. Like, you must be new around here, right? Because I am able to catch Ron Knight everywhere. He could be in one pixel, and I know it's his pixel, right?
But I am Chris Hansen of Dateline NBC.
Like, Ron Knight's right here in the yellow shirt, right?
Anything else you'd like to say to us? We'd like to hear it. If not,
I'm telling you, oh man, he can't escape. Like, that's Ron Knight. Easy, right? He just can't escape you, right? That deserves a like, right? Like and subscribe, right? If you like Ron Knight too, right? That was so pathetic. I'm so sorry.
we're doing a story on computer predators. Anything else you'd like to say to us?
So good.
We'd like to hear it.
He's lucky Ron Knight didn't jump over this desk and beat his blank, right?
You can take the towel to the garage and get dressed.
Please take the camera off of me.
Get the camera out of my face.
He sees the cameras. He's trying to keep the towel up around.
How?
He's trying to grab his clothes and head out the door, and he gets his underwear on and just beelines to get out of there. If he had just left it at that,
Damn.
Kennelly would have been a memorable character. But
Memorable.
what he did the next day,
Dang. I love his voice, man. Oh, what? Predator.
Wait a minute, so let me get this straight. So they're talking
Let me
about
get
a
this
meeting?
Oh,
Nobody
Del Harvey, man.
ever
Let me
gone
set my
through-
drink down, right? I gotta talk right now.
Well, let me get this straight. So they're talking about
Oh, look at this trio, man. Oh, I you know we have like famous trios like name me a famous trio. I don't know, Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, right? We have a famous trio right here, man. We have Del Harvey, then we have Frag, and then Chris Hansen, right? Pick your fighter, right? I always pick Del. You already know, right? Del's my favorite. But anyway, Coca-Cola can. Coca-Cola sponsored. No, I'm kidding. It's not sponsored. But one day, though, hopefully, for some reason, they'll sponsor me one.
meeting?
Nobody
A meeting?
has ever
Oh,
gone
for
through
McDonald's
what
in
that
Arlington.
man went through when he got to this house. But now this is just amazing.
This guy leaves our house,
It is so good, though.
shirtless, holding most of his clothes.
Clothes.
And less than 24 hours later, there he is in a chat room trying to make a date with another young teenage boy. We couldn't believe it, but it was the same screen name, same everything.
Are you gay?
So the decoy made a date, and they agreed to meet at a nearby fast food restaurant.
Fast food?
We move
McDonald's.
into position. He walks out of the restaurant, and we're there waiting for him. I remember exactly what I said.
You know what? This is probably one of the best segments that Chris has ever pulled, right? Chris on the field, right? Shout out to McDonald's, by the way, for hosting this epic event. But I will say that you know, his whole defense was like, oh, I've never done this before. Chris, I'm being honest, right? You can't use that now. You like, how is it that the next day, like, it, you know, it just goes back to what I was saying, that he really didn't seem all that scared, but you know, he was shaking, but at the same time, you weren't scared enough to stop at least for a day. Like, and he used the same profile under a different name, I believe it was, but still him. Like, it's
I've been in television
for 50,000
24 years.
24 years.
I just came to get something to eat.
And I have very seldom been at a loss for words.
Sir, I just came to
But
get something
I
to
don't
eat.
even know what to ask you first.
You know, it's impressive that he like actually tries to put up a defense, right? Like how, like, John Kennelly, you're caught red-handed, right? I understand he's trying his best, and John Kennelly is not the smartest person, you know, evidently. So he probably was like, you know what? They probably just caught me on the off day. Like, Chris and his camera crew were just for some reason walking down the street, and they saw me. Like, I don't know. What was the thought behind that? Operation Freedom. Trade Freedom.
We've been through this before. What are you doing? I've got the chat log again. You're chatting up another 13-year-old kid, and you're going to meet him here at McDonald's. You identify yourself. You call yourself Shane this time.
Shane.
You ask him a series of personal sexual questions. Is that appropriate talk to be having with someone you think is a 13-year-old boy? No.
Oh, it's just, dude, look at his eyes, man. Like, look at his eyes. How is it that you could be like this dead in the face? Like, it looks like he does not care a single bit. And this is what I've been talking about, how like John Kennelly is not disturbed by like half of this.
Last night, you walked into a home naked, hoping to meet a 13-year-old boy. You said you were sorry. It was the first time you'd ever done it. You admitted it was wrong.
Yes, I did.
You left.
Yes, I did, sir.
And within 24 hours, you're back on the internet chatting up another 13-year-old kid. What is going on?
What is going on?
What do you have to say for yourself?
I don't have anything to say for myself.
Well, you should say something, don't you think? I mean, what are we to think you're going to do next? Last night,
Kill somebody.
you walk into a house in suburban.
Imagine being someone like this, right? Someone in the background, like over here, being like, "Oh, what's that? This interview? I'm sure this guy did something amazing, right?" Like, you know, oh, this guy, he won. He's the 1,000th customer in this new McDonald's that just opened up, right, or something. But no, it's a predator, right? Everyone, back up, right? You might catch. I don't know. Catch something. I don't know.
Urban Washington, naked, with a 12-pack of beer, hoping to meet a 13.
I know. I just mentioned again, but like, imagine like your family comes out like, oh, gee, guys, that McDonald's McChicken nugget was really great. Oh, is that? Chris Hansen? Chris Hansen, what are you doing here? Right, catching a predator. That's what he's doing. Right? Shout out to the handicap.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Today,
You're on the internet again. You have an inappropriate conversation with a boy you think is 13, and you set up a meeting here at this fast food restaurant. What was your intention?
I don't know.
just have a burger. Have
Don't you think you need some help?
a delicious
I'm
Big
seeing a psychiatrist.
Do you see why I was skeptical last night when you said,
Can you get those?
no, I can't, John. I can't do that. That's their job, is to record video and audio. Now, you put yourself in this position. So don't get tough
absolute
with them.
banger from Chris, by the way. Don't get tough with that, right? Chris was ready to swing, right? This head is blurry because he almost hit him with a jab, right? A jab. Look at that. You think, look, getting hit by this, you're practically, you know, labeled dead, right? There's no surviving a Chris Hansen, you know, grease energy. What is it called? elbow grease power, man. I don't know.
Do you see why I was skeptical last night when you said it was the very first time you'd ever done something like that?
It was, though.
Oh,
This was my second time.
how can I believe that? And how do we know that you're not going to go out tomorrow or the next day or the next day or the next day and do this again?
I promise you I won't.
You see something so extreme, a guy show up naked and then come back the next day, you realize and you get a better understanding of how strong these addictions, these compulsions can be. And they develop online. First, perhaps porn sites, chat rooms, but ultimately that isn't enough to satisfy some of these guys. True. And that's when you see them, I think, take these extreme measures and risk so much to actually have a face-to-face meeting.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is really right on that situation. Like, people who are addicted to like that type of content, like, really, they go from something minor, right? I know that's a very bad choice of words, but something like, you know, very like, you know, normal, and then it increases to something more crazy, more illegal, until it reaches to a point where they actually come to visit some of these people that they lust for, right? And, you know, I remember when I first listened to this, I was like, oh, Chris, you don't know what you're talking about, right? But he is 100% right. You know, I mean, these addictions, an addiction to porn and all that stuff is fully, you know, a thing. And in this case, it could easily be attributed to something like that, right? Someone who is just too into being around that kind of stuff that they end up doing things illegally because they, you know, nothing else will suffice, you know, their hunger, quote unquote, to, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? And, yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to call my psychiatrist.
How long have you been seeing a psychiatrist?
A little over a year.
A little over a year? Why were you seeing?
That psychiatrist ain't doing shit, right? Sorry for cursing, but I just got food, right? And I'm excited. You know, if I ordered McDonald's, we would have been watching Lee Greer. I'm just telling you that right now. The next time I order McDonald's or I get McDonald's, I will do Lee Greer. And I will eat a cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger with no pickles, right? On everything. I'll even take a picture, right? And not of me, but of the meal. But yeah, just a little something, right? So let's get right through this, right?
Had a family breakdown.
Meaning what exactly?
I had a death in my family.
What am I telling you?
And I couldn't, and I never handled it well.
And is that what you attribute this sort of behavior to?
I'm guessing, yeah.
What?
It sounds like a cop-out.
Sounds like a cop-out. Stop lying.
But it's not though.
What happens if you really did meet a 13-year-old boy? What happens?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Jesus.
It's illegal.
His monotone talking, right? The monotoneness in his voice is really, really concerning. Like, it just attributes to the fact that I don't think he cares at all. He's like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know. So, someone who is actually passionate about what they're saying and someone who's actually hurt by what has happened to them, right? Getting caught or whatever, being arrested. Well, not arrested, but like caught. They definitely are more distressed than this. And, sheesh.
To have a talk on the internet with a minor with intent to have sex with that minor. You've done it twice in 2 days that we know of. That's a federal offense. You can go to
that they know of.
Do you know that?
He could be talking to other minors as they're talking right now. It does not mean that just because he scored with one, I know very bad usage of words, I'm sorry. Just because he managed to meet up with one of them, or quote unquote, you know, succeed with one of them, right? It was a decoy or whatever. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have other people that he's talking to, which is worrying. You know what I mean? And since police was not involved, it just sucks to know that he walked free in a sense. But I believe he did get a warrant for his arrest after this. I believe he did get arrested eventually, which I know I'm so grateful for, because this guy was definitely dangerous, and I think he is still an artist so now, which is good.
Yes.
Then why do you do it?
That I need help, and that's what I'm seeing a psychiatrist for.
And you're going to find help here at McDonald's?
No.
You're going to find help from a 13-year-old boy?
Buy a Whopper?
Experts in the field, after hearing all this, are going to likely suggest that last night wasn't your first time and today isn't your second time, that you've been doing this for a very long time, John.
No, I haven't.
Do you understand why that's hard for me to believe?
Yes.
I mean, is there any reason for us to think that you won't just go ahead and do this again tomorrow?
Yeah.
I got 2 appointments with my psychiatrist tomorrow.
Somehow.
What about today? You don't seem that busy today.
I will.
That's why I'm going to go home and call him.
You consider yourself a predator.
I don't know.
You don't know. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, sir.
I would walk away like that too. Like the way Chris Hansen walks away from John Kennelly is like legit the only way I think you could walk away from this situation. You know, hands on your hips, right? Everything. Like there is no other position you could have done that. You know what I mean? It's just a very mind-boggling, right? A very Chris Hansen word to say, but I don't think he ever did say something like that, but I'll just continue. You know, it's something that isn't normal. Like this is a situation and you're like, how is this possible? You know what I mean? How is it that someone who gets caught once gets caught again the next day? Like, it is someone who does not understand the gravity of this situation.
And he walks off, shoes untied, gets into his pickup
I don't
truck
get that either.
and drives off. And I'm thinking,
What
I just
the
can't
hell?
believe what I've just seen. When we started these investigations, you know, the goal was to understand what goes on in these guys' minds that makes them think it's okay to show up at a house where a young teen is alone and try to have a sexual relationship.
Liaison.
After you talk to a guy like Kennelly, you have a better understanding of the addictive nature
I don't think
of
so.
the internet and of the compulsion some of these guys develop. But it also makes you wonder how you deal with a guy like that.
Yeah.
And so while it answers some questions,
It raises more.
it often raises more.
Banger. And, you know, I love Chris Hansen. That's one thing I also have to say. But I know I have food here, but it's cold anyway, so I'm going to throw it in the microwave. So let's just keep going. TCAP, Wiki. I want to know if there's any updates of John Kennelly, but John Kennelly. I think that's how you spell it. I'm not sure. Oh, it is right. All right. This is long. Okay, I'll just go really quick. John Kennelly. John Kennelly is a predator confronted in the suburban Washington D.C. edition of To Catch a Predator. He is best known for showing up to Sting House naked and being confronted twice in a 24-hour period. Biography, right? Aliases: Special Guy 29. Shane. His relatives are elderly mother and father. Occupations is unemployed. He is single. He was born 1962. He's a male. He's 5'10". Weighs 205 pounds. Eye color is brown. And hair color is brown as well. Alright, biography. Whew. Kennelly, using the screen name Special Guy 29, engaged in explicit sexual conversation with a boy he believed to be 14 years old. He called the boy so effing hot and expressed his desire to hang out with him. Kennelly stated that he was serious about wanting the boy to be his boyfriend if given the opportunity. He fabricated details about his age and job, claiming to be an 11th grade prep school teacher at the age of 29. Okay, yeah, so his random answer for a school bus teacher and you know, being a teacher, whatever, isn't just out of the blue. He said he was a 11th grade teacher, even though he was actually 43. Yeah, so there's no way he was 29. But he kept up the ruse that he did in the chat logs, which makes a lot of sense. Makes us a lot more sense. 'Cause I didn't think he looked 29. I was like, Jesus Christ, for 29, my goodness, he really aged bad. But he was actually 43 and unemployed at the beginning. Unemployed at the time of the sting. To establish intent, the decoy solicited Kennelly to strip down to his underwear and enter the location. When Kennelly mentioned he didn't wear them, the decoy replied, "Then come in naked." Kennelly openly discussed his interest in oral sex before the meeting was fully scheduled. He demonstrated a fast-paced approach, taking approximately 1 hour from initial contact to declaring a boyfriend relationship and then making a decision to drive to the Sting House. So wait, it took 1 hour? My God, hold on, let me get something to drink. It took him an hour to set this up. My God, I said a day. It took an hour. Okay, so first encounter. Kennelly arrived at a designated location with a 12-pack of beer. He entered through the garage and proceeded to undress completely, leaving only his socks on. Awkwardly, he made his way towards a stool where, according to details mentioned by Chris Hansen on his Predators I've Caught podcast, Kennelly was counting to 100 as Hansen entered. He was left speechless, requesting an explanation. Hansen grabbed the towel from the top shelf of the refrigerator. Kennelly turned around and expressed regret. Hansen handed him the towel and advised him to cover up. Following the instruction, Kennelly wrapped the towel around himself. When questioned about the situation, with Kennelly initially mistaking the decoy for Hansen's son, he claimed that he had received an instant message from the teenager inviting him over. Perplexed, Kennelly asserted he had no knowledge of the reason behind the message. Hansen responded sarcastically, saying that the teenager randomly selected him and instructed him to enter the room in the nude. When asked about his age, Kennelly reiterated that he was 29. Regarding his occupation, he initially claimed to be a school bus driver, but later changed it back to being a school teacher. Meanwhile, Del Harvey took the 12-pack of beer and moved away, while Hansen approached Kennelly and requested identification. While that happened. Later during the interview, Kennelly insisted that he had never previously interacted with a minor online. Hansen became frustrated, declaring that Kennelly's claim of innocence to be absurd. Hansen asked Kennelly for identification once more, and he complied. Hansen then requested Kennelly about his plans after understanding that he had just woken up in the morning and intended to engage in an online conversation with a 14-year-old child, visit his home, get undressed, and enter carrying a 12-pack of beer. Kennelly stated that he probably would have chickened out. Hansen claimed he found it difficult to accept that. Hansen began to read from Kennelly's sexually explicit internet communications, but Kennelly cut him off, claiming that he was simply just chatting. Hansen yelled, "Chatting? You're sitting in this kitchen naked, John." After reading more of the chat log, Hansen declared that it was illegal to have an online communication with the intentions of having sex with a minor. Kennelly admitted that he was aware of the immorality of what he was doing, and that he was in violation of the law. Hansen disclosed that he was not the boy's father, but rather a Dayline NBC reporter. Kennelly was exposed when the cameras emerged. He struggled to grip the tower while grabbing his clothes. Kennelly changed into his clothes, including a pair of underwear he claimed not to wear, and left the house quickly. But now we're on to the second encounter. Kennelly was back online not even 24 hours after getting busted. He was contacted by a perverted justice member who pretended to be a 13-year-old boy. Kennelly continued to use the same screen name but changed his name to Shane. He continued to claim to be 29. When the decoy questioned if he was gay, Kennelly replied that he wasn't and mentioned having a girlfriend. The decoy inquired if Kennelly wanted to meet at a McDonald's restaurant after claiming to reside nearby. Kennelly promised to do so and asked the decoy to meet him outside of the restaurant. The child was questioned about his blank size, whether he wore underwear. When the boy claimed to wear boxers, Kennelly specifically asked him to arrive without any. Hansen accosted Kennelly much more aggressively than the day before when he arrived at the McDonald's. He claimed that in his 24 years of working on television, he had only sometimes found himself at a loss for words. Kennelly kept saying, "I just came to get something to eat," repeatedly. Hansen reminded him that he had entered a home naked, thinking he was going to meet a child. He also read from the chat logs that Kennelly had with a 13-year-old boy. Kennelly became annoyed at the cameraman and told him to get out of his face after he continued to claim that he didn't know what he was going to do. Hansen stood up for them, stating that Kennelly had no cause to be upset with them because he put himself in this situation. Then, Kennelly tried to blame his actions on a death in his family, but Hansen was having none of it. Hansen also found it hard to comprehend that Kennelly was seeing a psychiatrist and had 2 appointments the following day. Kennelly exited from the scene with his shoes untied and got in his vehicle and drove off. Okay, so the legal process and sentence. After a second confrontation, police raided Kennelly's apartment and removed his computer. He was arrested by Fairfax County and charged with the Commonwealth with 1 count of use of communication device to facilitate certain offenses involving children, a Class 5 felony. It carried a sentence of up to 10 years in prison. Kennelly was set to go on trial before a jury before he changed his plea to guilty on the initial felony charge he was facing on June 12, 2006. In September 6, 2006, Judge Judge M. Longhorn Keith sentenced Kennelly to a suspended 2-year sentence, 3 years of probation, registration as a Tier 1 RSO, prohibiting him from accessing any online chat rooms, and required him to have no unsupervised contact with children under the age of 18. Post-predator activities. On March 10, 2007, two 15-year-old girls were walking in Cub Run Park when they encountered a man who had his back turned to them. Suddenly, the man yelled to get their attention, and to their horror, they saw that he had removed his shirt and pants, exposing himself. Frightened, the girls quickly turned and ran away, with the man chasing after them. Eventually, he disappeared into nearby woods following an investigation. To the nearby woods. Following an investigation, the police identified Kennelly as the suspect. On May 30th, 2007, he was charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure. Kennelly was arrested at the adult detention center where he already was in custody for violating his probation. It is unknown whether he received jail time or was put on extended probation. Kennelly was spotted in June 2022. 2022. A hotel in southwestern Pennsylvania along with his mother. To Catch a Predator fan recognized him and snapped a quick photo, with Kennelly looking far more presentable since his appearance on the show. He once had a job at a sandwich shop. After the sting, he was fired when his identity was discovered. He is well known and popular in the Rocky Horror Picture Show community in the town. The community has proclaimed Kennelly under their protection and rallied to his defense in the face of any negativity thrown his way. First of all, what type? I don't mean to call y'all out, but the Rocky Horror Picture Show community. First of all, y'all are crazy for being okay with Kennelly or protecting him. How is it that you're more mad at the people mad at him for doing something as wrong as this, but he's under y'all's protection? Y'all are all weirdos. I'm sorry. You can try to come get me, but I know that I'm right. You know what I mean? There is no possible way that I lose this belief where Kennelly does not deserve to be protected in any way. Yes, it has been a long time since he did get in trouble, but the fact that he did it again with indecent exposure is just to show that he's not a good person. You know what I mean? But hey, whatever. Rocky Horror Picture Show community. Props to y'all. I don't know what y'all do in whatever y'all do, whatever, right? He was the first predator to show up naked at the Sting House, second being Marvin Lackhand. Yep. The McDonald's he just came to get something to eat is now out of business, right? A bummer. In June 2021, during a Reddit MIA where people shared what the men did before they were caught on the show, one user claimed he met Kennelly at a community event. The user, I'm sorry, I'm getting stuck up with a bunch of saliva in my mouth. I know you don't care about that. I know there are some people that do. Some of y'all are freaks, by the way. The user alleged that John kept pleading with their parents to let them visit his house. The user asserted that John always seemed weird and he could always sense it. Yeah, it's really bad, right? Anyway, yeah, that'll be it for John Kennelly. I'm so glad that we did this again. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here on my desk again, how it used to be when I first started. It's very nice. It feels great. Now I know why I laughed so much. It's just a lot more comfortable being here. We'll see if I do another one like this again. I get back from school 2 hours before my younger siblings get here, so it's really quiet. There's only me and my brother, just how it used to be when I would record these. So yeah, I probably should have a black screen on the on the screen. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like the video. If you didn't like the video, tell me why, but don't dislike it, please. I work so hard sometimes to get these through you right. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I have to put away time, and the editing is a little bit tedious and stuff. But I'm here. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe if you like TCAP content. Right, this is all I do. So yeah, have a good day and enjoy yourselves.